Hi, everyone. Welcome to Between Two Speakers, where we talk to other speakers and professionals about speaking. I'm Mariana Swallow. I'm a professional public speaking coach, and I teach business and professional speaking at Loyola University in Chicago.
And I'm Randy Ford. I'm a writer and storytelling strategist at First Story Strategies. And we're really excited to have a guest today who's going to help Mira and me get rid of some of our biggest Zoom pet peeves that people are doing. And it is Mike Alongi from Forefront Media Creations. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Mike, both of us work in meetings and groups, and we both have clients where we have to be on Zoom, like everyone these days. And as you can see, I've got a big don't going on right now. So can you talk to us about how the regular everyday person who maybe isn't a video person like yourself can light themselves at home so they're not looking like this?
Yeah, so you have a lot of light coming from one side, kind of low, and it's harsh. It creates a big contrast on your face. So one of the things you can do is turn towards the light or angle yourself so you're facing a window or a big natural source of light is the best way to do that. And also to have the light a little bit above eye level so you don't get those up shadows. They kind of make you look like you're in a scary movie. Yep, exactly.
I'm gonna actually turn that off, so.
Yes, there you go. That's much better.
Look great now.
Thanks.
I've noticed that some people will have that window behind them, and sometimes you can't avoid that, but then it may look great, but then any movement, the camera just auto focuses and changes and thinks that that's what it's supposed to be looking at now. And you get like this weird thing where people are coming in and out a lot.
Yeah, so you and I both have a window kind of behind us here. The difference between my shot and your shot right now is that I also have a light in front of me. So my face is as bright as the window behind me, whereas your face is a little bit darker than your window. So when I move around, the natural autofocus of most computers and phones and whatnot will keep me in focus because I'm a face brightest in the front and center. Whereas if you don't have a light in front of your face and the brightest thing is actually behind you, then yeah, you do have a lot of issues and it can look weird, definitely.
Yeah.
So, Mike, is that something people can fix by just buying like a simple desk lamp at Target and putting on the other side of their laptop?
Yeah, I mean, literally any light can work. The little mini circular beauty lights, I think, are personally the best for people that are on a budget, might not have a lot of money. You can get those from anywhere from like $15, $20 up to like $100, depending on the quality. But yeah, literally any light that you can put behind your camera would help. Yeah, and this depends on like the color temperature. There are some that are cooler and warmer. I actually just tested that when I was putting on my light, and as I changed the color temperature, my computer naturally adjusted it for me, so it wasn't even an issue there. So yeah, literally any light would help.
And I do have a ring light. It is probably a little, I need to play with it, play with the levels today. Of course, it changes outside all the time, so you have to completely adjust all the time. One of my biggest pet peeves is camera framing, is where people sit. And so, you know, you have people who are doing this, or people who are all the way back here, or we've all seen like the nostril shots.
Yeah. That one.
You know, one of the things I tell people, and it's sometimes you're on Zoom for maybe hours at a time if you have a long meeting or class or something. So it's hard to stay straight and up and you know, boxed. But if some people are doing a presentation or something, I will tell them to watch the news for just a couple minutes before and just see how Anderson Cooper is framed up, or whomever, especially if they're like this where there's multiple panelists on screen, and just get a feel for how much headroom they have. And you know, even Anderson Cooper gets a bathroom break without sitting that still for 2 hours, but it still gives you a good idea of where to come back and recenter yourself to.
Yeah, there's a quick general rule of thumb for framing that's really easy. You always want, obviously, give yourself a little bit of headroom, and then the closer you get to the camera, the less headroom you can give. So you can kind of cut your head off if you're really close, and you want to give more headroom if you're farther away. But also, generally, you want to cut off the bottom of your shot in between joints. So you don't want to be at the knees, you don't want to be at the waist, and you don't want to be just below the chest where your stomach bends. You want to be in the middle of the chest, or in the middle of your stomach, or in the middle of your legs, or in the middle of your shins. Just to frame yourself that way, not at the joints, looks the most natural. And then, yeah, also to give yourself a little bit of headroom, so that you don't, obviously, yeah, look like this or the nostril shot or anything.
Mike,
Yeah.
talk about, I think both Randy and I right now are using risers, the importance of having your laptop, if you're using a laptop, lifted up a little bit. And what can people do if they don't have a riser or don't want to go and spend 30 bucks on a piece of metal?
Yeah, so having your camera as well as your light slightly above eye level, it helps reduce shadows, but also it helps eliminate like the double chin effect if you're down here. So it definitely does help to be up a little bit. Honestly, you can put your computer or camera on anything, just to raise it up. It doesn't have to be, it could be books, it could be anything, just to make sure that you're slightly above eye level. Always kind of want to look down a little bit, or completely even. To do that. But yeah, there's a plenty of, I mean, anything lying around your house, you can stack your camera on.
What do people need to listen to, Mike, about audio? What's like the biggest thing that you've noticed that people don't know about, what they need to do to sound the best and be able to hear the best?
I mean, when it comes to Zoom meetings or just like at home stuff, it's really just people not focusing on how close the microphone is to them, or not paying attention to any sounds in the room. A lot of time, like basically, you don't really want to use your computer's microphone because generally it's not near you. You're a couple feet away, and then also it's going to pick up on a lot of the room noise that exists, whether it's your AC unit or your kids or your animals or even noises outside on the street. So yeah, definitely. I always like to use headphones. I don't have AirPods or wireless headphones. I'm kind of old school, but those work great. Anything that puts the microphone a little bit closer to you. If you have a regular microphone, you could use that too, but obviously most people don't. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think just paying attention to where the microphone is located and trying to eliminate the noise in the room.
On the listener side, something that mistake that I made was I had my computer muted and I didn't know that. And I was in a meeting with someone and I kept saying, I can't hear you. No. And I told her, hang up, come back, check your microphone, check your settings. And it was really my settings. So make sure that you haven't put your sound on mute on your own computer. That was my faux pas.
Another thing is when people, sometimes, again, if you're doing like a presentation, it makes a big difference to be looking at the camera. And we're not used to it because I can see your faces right now peripherally, and I can see that you all are having a reaction. But if I'm talking to you in the room, I can make eye contact with you. The only way to do that now is to do this, as opposed to looking all around at your faces, which I want to do because I want to be looking at you when I talk to you. So again, if you're in a long meeting, it may not make sense. And if you're having a Zoom happy hour with friends, then whatever. But if you're giving a presentation or doing something formal, maintaining that eye contact with the camera is a pretty big deal.
It's a good
Yeah,
tip.
definitely. That's something that I'm not even that used to. I want to look around at the screen every time I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, every time I do that, I notice my eyes are off to the side, and then it helps, yeah, definitely to look at the camera for sure.
We know you're with us. Actually, there is one question I had. We talked about lighting a little bit, and Mike, as you can see, the issue I have is glasses because I know, and depending on the glasses you have, these are actually my bad Zoom glasses because they have the anti-reflective whatever stuff in them. And if there is a light on the other side of my computer, it will go right into here, and I know my clients can't see my eyes. So I find that I'm doing this a lot to try and make sure they know that I'm looking at them, I'm talking to them, I'm with them. So what do you recommend for people who have glasses? Is there a different way to light?
Yeah, glasses are definitely tough. When I do like corporate shoots, I always, if people can take their glasses off, I do ask them to generally. But the way around it is to just offset your lights. Like instead of going directly in front of the camera where it's going to reflect straight back at you, if you one light off to the side or maybe even two lights, you'll see that the more you move them out, the more that the reflections will disappear off your glasses, and then you'll only see the reflection if you move left or right instead of when you're always looking straight ahead. It also helps if you can, just more lights, really. The more angles of lights you can have, you can eliminate also the shadow that the edges of your glasses will cast on your face when you move the lights out wider.
Like they are now.
Yeah. So it's definitely tough. There's just like more light, and around the sides, just as much light as you can. Even if you're lighting from up, you can also light from down too, to kind of eliminate it, as long as you balance it and there's not any weird shadows on your face. But yeah, just more light and out to the sides. It's definitely tough though. It is tough.
All right, Mike Alongi from Forefront Media Creations. Thanks for being here today. This has been Between Speakers. I'm Randy Ford.
And I'm Mariana Swallow. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Right.